What is going on, people? We've just heard the final whistle. Argentina 2, England 1. And today it just wasn't meant to be. Now, I've entitled the video The Master of the Dark Arts, right? And I kind of decided that 30 minutes in, irrespective of the result. We always knew Argentina were going to be really good at ruffling feathers. The referee, to be fair to him, didn't let every single thing go. But then after Argentina decided to just camp out just outside the box for most of the match after the goal, you really knew that it was just a matter of time in hindsight. I never really saw England hanging on. And just for reference, right, you're watching the first minute of this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, click below to watch the full breakdown. And if you're watching on Instagram, go to my bio for the full link on YouTube. Now we've got out of the way, what I wanted to say about this game is that credit to where credit's due, right? Yes, Argentina have done their dark arts throughout the tournament. They have had plenty of decisions go their way. Allegedly may have had some help along the way as well, right? We've all seen it. I don't want to be libelous for anything I say on camera, but what my point is that today they turned up. And yes, they conceded a goal on the break, but I think there's so many things to go into here, right? Number one, the fact that they had chance after chance after chance. McAllister should have buried a header, hit the post. Jordan Pickford made two very good saves. I think, especially the header that he saved, you would expect him to kind of get that low in the Premier League week in, week out. And he does that because he plays for Everton. So Everton are going to concede more shots than your average top 4 team, right? So he does really well. He had good defenders in front of him. Special mention to Jed Spence. He did well, you know, when he went in and hammered Simeone Jr., that is. Of course, he did really well. And you saw celebrated like a goal after the Anthony Gordon goal. But what I think is a real shame that we've really seen here is that when Dan Burn came on and you saw where the game plan was, stick 5 at the back, and what you realised that we had no outlet, and Kane dropping so deep and not having the wingers to run around, right? I think with the knowledge you have, Thomas Tuchel would have done the same starting lineup again. You would redo that again with the knowledge you had. I don't think he would have gone in and basically put out a different team and regretted it if he could do this all over again without knowing the final score, of course. Because Morgan Rogers, he said he felt something special and he produced something special. No arguments there. Anthony Gordon, great shift, scored a goal, the right kind of tactical job on that wing. And really, Rashford, Saka and Madueke have not set the tournament alight anyway. So aside from selection issues of who was and who wasn't on the plane, you can't really knock Tuchel too much for the team he chose. But maybe the substitutions as well. I'm just thinking, was it really necessary to wait until the 95th of the 98 minutes of what we had? And it went to close to 100, admittedly. But was it really the right thing then to bring on Ivan Toney and Marcus Rashford at that point? Like, what was the point then? Right? You concede a goal and you've got all these defenders because you've put all your eggs in one basket and said, we're just going to do a really professional job now and sit back, knowing you're going to get hammered. Now, that would usually work if you have at least 2 outlet players, right? So if you look at any big club in basically world football, right, across the top 5 leagues at least, you're going to have 1 or 2 pacey wingers and maybe a centre forward who can play anywhere across the front 3 that can pick up the ball, take it by the scruff of the neck, and get you out of trouble, to be that release and outlet ball, where an Elliot Anderson or a Declan Rice, and Declan Rice admittedly was a bit missing as well today. He's been unwell, right? So, but look, you've got to play when you've got to play. It's not, you know, I don't think you would do anything differently in Thomas Tuchel's view, but the signs were there. England were getting absolutely hammered. They were slow to get out of their box and they just absorbed pressure. And I think I'm glad that the dark arts didn't come into it too much. I'm really happy at least that we're not speaking about a dodgy penalty or someone getting sucked in, like Jude Bellingham getting sucked in and getting a red card, right? That's what I thought was going to play out as I saw the match, especially after that Elliot Anderson yellow. I thought what we're probably going to see here is Elliot Anderson pick up a second yellow, get done by someone, you know, like, or you saw Harry Kane cover his mouth when he spoke to the referee, and then immediately the Argentine player go over to him, look, you should send him off, even though that's not the rule. It's only if you speak to an opponent and say something to an opponent, but a bit of a grey area. I'm sure FIFA will clear that up. But what I think really we need to understand is that there's been a good England run, and really Argentina is just that big stage. England and English teams, we see this in the Champions League, the high foot, the foot above your hip, and then suddenly the whistle blows and we look around like, what's wrong? Oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that in European football. You're not allowed to do that in international football. And I think in the same thing, the SHIT, Alzery, right? You know the term. That's really not a thing as much in England. It is in terms of time wasting, you could imagine. And that's why a lot of rules have been brought in. But really, Argentina are the master of the dark arts, right? We saw, despite Paraguay putting that through, Mbappe dragged them through. But Argentina are just another level. They live and breathe this stuff, you know? And the fact is they're 6 in 6 in semi-finals. They've won the last 6 of 7 penalty shootouts. Like, this is them throughout, right? And what it does make for is a very entertaining final where you can almost kick back and look. I'm sure that, you know, the general consensus, I think most people would probably want to see Spain do it because Spain have had a harder run. Spain have actually beat top tier teams to get to where they are. And so have Argentina to a degree, but by and large, you can say England has been their biggest challenge. And judging on today, yeah, it was a big challenge. But, you know, it's like there's a saying that says 90s Manchester United didn't lose games, they just ran out of time. And what that means is that if you continued playing, there was only ever going to be one result anyway. Argentina would have scored. They just happened to score before the final whistle, right? So this is their game. They've done well. It is frustrating. It is, again, the closest that England will come for a while, I feel. And, you know, the manager was there. There was no massive fitness issues. It's not like, you know, we missed a talisman and he was injured and rushed them back to fitness. Like you saw, you know, players of old, like Mo Salah 4 years ago, Lukaku this year, where like maybe the main player of a team isn't quite fit and you can blame it on that. So, you know, I wouldn't say England have only themselves to blame, but I would say England should be proud. Tuchel should be proud. I think the decisions were okay to start with. I just think the substitutions, if you have an Ivan Toney, that was his first appearance. If you had Ollie Watkins, you needed that outlet ball. If you're going to take off Anthony Gordon, you need that person who basically will be standing on the halfway line, who can spin a defender and take the ball out. When Harry Kane's toe poking it, right? He's just getting in his mid-30s, you know, and he's gone to the likes of Bayern to prolong his career. We all know that every season in the Premier League, he had a 6 to 8 week ankle injury. He's not been tip-top for a while. And you can't expect Harry Kane, who's a deep-lying centre forward. He's not necessarily your out-and-out striker, right? He's not there on, you know, on the shoulder of the defender like a Haaland is going to outpace you. You know, he's a different era striker. He is a throwback somewhat, right? The closest probably that England will ever get to an R9. But here we are now. And England on Saturday will play the 3rd and 4th place playoff, or as FIFA are calling it, the Bronze Trophy final. So I think I might be busy for that. But look, we'll get a good World Cup final. It'll be interesting to see. There'll be a lot of dark arts on display again. And, you know, I think the whole world, by and large, will be rooting for Spain because I think Spain want to play football, right? Argentina, for the first half an hour, did not come to play football. And I think that's what we want to see. We want to see a win for football by and large, right? So I'll do a full preview for the World Cup final and then we'll move into Premier League content after that. My proper gig that I enjoy the most. So let me know what you think. Drop us a sub. Give me some comments to reply to. You guys have been engaging, especially on YouTube Shorts, which I'm really grateful for. Doing this for a bit of fun. So thank you so much if you've watched all the way through. Let me know what else you want to see from me and I'll catch you in a bit. Take care.